Let me know when you see it.
Let me refresh. There we go. I see something. Here we go.
All right, everybody. Thanks so much for coming to tonight's lecture. Some of you are here live and some are here via Facebook Live. I appreciate everyone coming. Tonight's lecture, as promised, is going to be progressive circuit training. This is the permanent solution to fat loss. It's a follow-up lecture to my last lecture, which was the New Year's resolution solution. So this is the exercise portion of the program. What we're going to do, we're going to take a deep dive into the exercise aspects of rebooting your body to a new metabolic level and making weight loss a lot easier than we thought it was. Okay? So these are the key factors to weight loss. Okay? I kind of changed this a little bit, realizing that mindset has to come before everything else, right? So if you don't have the right mindset, you're not going to follow through with your tasks. If you don't follow through with your tasks, you're not going to get the outcome. So that needs to be the first thing you need to address is your mindset. You have to have a goal, and you have to make sure that goal is important enough to you for you to follow through with the rest of the things that I'm going to go over with you tonight. Okay? Next up, we have nutrition or diet, however you want to phrase that. Okay? What you put in your body is incredibly important, and it's incredibly important to put high-quality ingredients that happen to be low-calorie, and these are going to help you lose weight by forcing your body to use stored body fat for fuel. We're going to go over exactly how that works in the next several slides. We're also going to talk about cardiovascular exercise. It's a very important portion of what you want to do. It's great for your heart health. It's great for calorie burning. But it has to be done in the right way, in the right amount for you to get the most out of it. Too often people think cardio is the number one aspect of weight loss, and it really isn't. It actually comes in number 3. So these are in order of importance. And then, of course, weight training is what we're going to talk about tonight, and how you're going to use weight training to stir up your metabolism, ramp it up, and make it easier for you to keep your weight down. Okay, so this is the hierarchy of weight loss factors, okay? Mindset obviously is the most important thing that we need to address as far as your fitness journey goes. That needs to be set in place first, as we just said. We need to make sure we journal. We need to make sure we eat properly and do our exercise regimens without excuses, okay? Nutrition is normally considered the first most important thing, but we're going to put it second today because without mindset, you're not going to follow the nutrition. Does that make sense? Okay, so the second most important factor is nutrition. Without the proper nutrition, your body will not be able to perform the exercises at peak performance, and you're not going to get the benefit out of it. Plus, you're going to put things into your body that are easily used for fuel. We want your body to use stored body fat for fuel. Okay? Weight training. Weight training increases both resting and exercising metabolic rates. We're going to break this down in detail in later slides. Okay? This is the key factor in changing the way your body works through exercise and keeping your metabolism and your calorie burning at a higher level. And then we're going to talk about cardio, when to use it, how to use it, how much you're supposed to do, and more importantly, when to do it. There's a key aspect of cardio that you need to know to get the most out of the time and effort you're going to spend doing cardio. Okay? So let's start off with mindset, right? Let's get that out of the way, get focused, okay? Mindset is the most critical aspect of anything that you do, okay? Do you remember when you were in college and you had to study for your exams, or you're an athlete and you had a championship game, or you're part of an office team and you had a big presentation to do? those things were so important that you were laser focused on them. And because they were so important, you had the discipline to follow through the steps that you needed to follow to make sure that that college exam, that game, or that project or deadline went off as you needed it to. So your health and your weight loss should be no less important than those things. We need to make this a priority and make it important. Follow through with everything you're supposed to do, and you will have success. Okay, so we need to stop putting weight loss and fitness on the bottom rung of the ladder. We need to bring it up to the top because your health is your most important asset. Without that, you can't do other things you want to do in life. Okay, nutrition. Okay, nutrient-rich foods, leafy green vegetables, lean protein sources, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds. Natural sources of food are naturally higher in nutrition and lower in calorie. I'll say that again. They're higher in nutrition and lower in calorie. So you can eat more food, not feel hungry, and nourish your body with vitamins, minerals, phytonutrients, and everything it needs to perform exercise at a higher level. Okay? So when you eat these kinds of foods, you're taking in less calories but eating more food and feeling more satisfied. Now, if you had a 500 calorie a day deficit, you're going to be at a 3,500 calorie deficit for the week, which equals 1 pound of fat loss. Okay? So eating nutrient-dense foods, utilizing extra calories in weight training and cardiovascular training is going to create a caloric deficit. A caloric deficit is going to help you lose body fat because your body will go to stored body fat first for its fuel needs during exercise. Okay? Cut out breads and pasta. I know this is not a popular one. We all love our breads and pastas, me included. But if you want to achieve weight loss success, at least for a time, cut these out. Later on, you may be able to work them in a little bit here and there for a treat for yourself. But when you're first starting, you really need to cut these things out. Okay? Now, part of focus and part of mindset is keeping an accurate meal log. This is so critical for success. I can tell you that being a trainer for over 25 years, people that kept a food log on a daily basis, brought it in, did 30% better with their weight loss goals than people that didn't. And the reason is when you don't write it down, it doesn't go into your psyche. It doesn't go into your brain. You don't realize the couple of cookies you had here, the half a bagel here, you could justify it and it's no big deal. But those calories add up. If you put easy or junk calories into your body doesn't have to go to stored body fat for fuel. Okay, so we want to cut those out. And the way to cut those out is to log all of your nutrition. And then it'll get to be a habit, and you'll start to get into having a mindset of an awareness of what you're putting into your body. If you don't write it down, you won't have that awareness. Now, MyFitnessPal is a nutrition tracking tool. The basic version is free, and as a matter of fact, a friend of mine is putting together a nutrition kind of a cyber leaflet on how to use MyFitnessPal and how to pick foods that are the best choices and log them in MyFitnessPal. This is a very, very good tool to use, and it really keeps you on track, and you really see by charts and graphs and pie charts what you're eating, what your macros are, what your calories are, and it really helps you be aware of what you're doing as far as your nutrition. Okay, so here's the big thing that we're going to talk about: weight training and its effects on metabolism. Now, these were studies done in the early 1980s by the ACSM. They figured out how weight training affected metabolism and strength and hormonal balances and all those things, right? So they figured out for every pound of muscle that you gain, you burn up to 50 calories more per day at rest. So when you go to the gym and you lift weights, and over a period of time you gain a pound of muscle, say over a few weeks or a month, you're burning more calories at rest every day than you were before. So I equated to this. If you had a 4-cylinder car, a 6-cylinder car, and an 8-cylinder car waiting at a red light, the 8-cylinder car is burning more gasoline than the 6-cylinder, and the 6-cylinder is burning more gasoline than the 4-cylinder. Okay? So you want to think of your body as a car engine. We want to create more cylinders in the car engine by building more muscle. So when we step on the gas and that light turns, we're burning more gasoline, as in calories, when we work out too. So this is where progressive circuit training comes in. We're going to utilize these scientific facts to our advantage by programming our weight training to get the most out of it in the minimum amount of time. Okay? As you increase lean muscle mass, you'll increase your working metabolic output. And I kind of just explained that. Okay? The more muscle mass that you have while you're working out in the gym, the more energy requirement that's going to have, the more calorie utilization you're going to have. And as you go through the system, that increased muscle mass is going to make it easier and easier for you to keep your body fat down as long as you eat properly, right? The more strength you gain, the more lean muscle mass you can create. The more lean muscle mass you create, the more strength you can gain. Okay? It works in a synergy, right? So if over a period of time, and this is a lot of muscle weight to gain, but it can be done. I've done it myself. I've done a lot more than this, actually. Gaining 10 pounds of lean muscle mass, you'll burn 3,500 calories more per week. Okay? So that is just at rest. So that's a pound of body fat per week. Okay? Gaining lean muscle weight increases metabolic output. Having a higher resting and working metabolic output makes weight management a lot easier. Okay? So we want to program our body to create more lean muscle mass. And we're going to program our weight training to burn maximum amount of calories while we're doing that, right? Okay, now we're going to go on to cardiovascular training. Cardiovascular training burns calories to increase fat loss. That's true, but it's not the only way to go with it. The fact of the matter is, when you go on a treadmill, it takes 20 minutes or so for your body to get into fat burning mode. Okay, you got to burn a lot of sugar first before the body will start to resort to burn body fat as a fuel source. Now think about that. So if people do 30 minutes of cardio, they're getting about 10 minutes of fat burning out of it, right? No matter what area of the fat burn you're on, it improves your heart health because it strengthens the heart muscle. The heart has to beat faster. It's going to get stronger. It's going to keep your heart healthy. The fact that the heart is stronger lowers your blood pressure. Also, you're going to increase mitochondrial sites in your muscle cells. Those are the little energy systems in your muscle cells that convert oxygen to ATP, which help contract your muscles, okay? As an adaptation, your body will create more mitochondrial sites through aerobic training, okay? It also increases endurance because your heart's working more efficiently and you're utilizing oxygen more efficiently doing aerobic exercise, okay? So let's go back to the 20 minutes of fat burning. Remember I told you there's an ideal time to do cardiovascular exercise. Now, doing it first or doing it exclusively, it's going to take you 20 minutes to get into fat burning mode. Well, what if we did this? What if we got on for 5 minutes, did a warm-up, come off, do a half hour of circuit training. Circuit training is going to keep your heart rate up. Then when you get back on the treadmill, you're already in fat burning mode. So that half hour is a lot more efficient in burning fat. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, this is the progression of circuit training and why it works the way it does. And this is probably going to be the longest slide in the presentation. So what we do is we start at stage one. Okay? At stage one, we're going to work the entire body. All right? So what we're going to do is we're going to set our circuit up with our largest body parts first, right? Your legs, your back, and your chest. Okay? So what we would do is we'll train a set of legs. And we'll stretch our legs right after that set. Now, why do we do that? We do that because after a muscle's overloaded, it tends to shorten and it fills up with lactic acid. Lactic acid is a byproduct of anaerobic overload. Okay? Lactic acid also inhibits muscle contraction. So the reason we stretch is we re-lengthen the muscles, and some of that lactic acid gets dispersed back into the bloodstream and gets taken away. So the next time we do that set, that muscle is better prepared to do that. Then without much rest, aside from the stretching, we go and train our back. We train our back, we overload the back muscle, and then we stretch our back for this same exact reason. Release lactic acid into the bloodstream and re-lengthen the muscle and get it ready for the next set. Then we go to our chest. We train our chest, we stretch for the exact same reason, and we stretch, we get a drink of water, and then we go back to legs. Now, what were your legs doing while you were training back and chest? They were recovering. Did you ever see people in the gym or do a set of legs or whatever they're doing, or a set of biceps, and they'll put the weight down and they'll rest for 2 to 3 minutes till the muscle recovers, and then they do another set? That's called straight set training. There's nothing wrong with it, but it's not going to burn calories at the rate of circuit training. So the beauty of circuit training is the legs have gotten that 3 or 4 minutes rest while you were doing your other opposing muscle groups, and now it's recovered and ready to go. During this time, instead of our heart rate going down because we were resting, your heart rate stayed elevated because you trained your back and your chest. Now, do you see where you're going to burn more calories during circuit training than you would doing straight sets, right? And doing your cardiovascular exercise afterwards is going to help you burn more fat than just getting on the cardio alone, because you're not going to lose that 20 minutes, okay? So after 2 or 3 rounds on your first 3 exercises, you're going to go to the second half and you're going to work your bis, tris, and shoulders in the same way. You're going to do a set of biceps, stretch them out, go to your set of triceps, stretch those out, back, then the shoulders, stretch those out, get a drink of water, and back to biceps. Your biceps have been resting the whole time you're working those other muscle groups. And these are opposing muscle groups, by the way, so that works really well as far as working opposite muscle groups in a circuit, okay? So we do 2 to 3 sets of these depending on your level. It's generally 18 sets, 30 minutes. Sometimes it's 21 if you separate your quads and hamstrings, but most of the time it's 18 sets. And this entire workout takes 30 minutes. If you were to do 18 sets doing straight set training, you'd probably be there over an hour. Okay? Everybody's busy today, and if you do it this way, you're burning a lot more calories during your set. And if you have time, you can get on the treadmill afterwards and continue to burn fat because you're already in fat burning zone. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? So, you do this stage depending on who you are, your age, your genetics, anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, depending on how your body responds. Now, after a certain amount of time, your body's going to stop adapting to this because it's going to feel like it can easily handle it, and it's not threatened by what you're doing, and it's going to want to stay there in stasis. It's happy, it can handle it. We're good, I don't need to get any stronger. So what do? Now that you're stronger, we go to stage 2. We train all upper body muscles in one workout, which means per muscle you're looking at more exercises, more sets, more reps, slightly heavier weight, And because we gained muscle in the first stage, you have now gone from a 4-cylinder car to a 6-cylinder car. Now you're burning calories at a higher rate, 24/7, even when you're sleeping, and you're having the ability to step it up and work out harder and gain more muscle, gaining more metabolic advantage. Now, your lower body, you get into specifics, you can separate your quads, hamstrings, and calves. You can get into more variety of exercises, and we can really tap into your lower body for calorie burning because they are your largest muscle groups and they really, really put your metabolism skyrocketing when you train them properly, okay? So one day it's upper body, the other day is lower body, okay? You need to alternate these. You can go back to back because you're working different muscle groups, okay? This is using also an 18-set routine for 30 minutes. But what we're doing is we're putting more load on those muscles per workout, building more muscle, more strength, and more metabolism, okay? After this stage, at 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, you're going to go to stage 3, okay? So the only 3 muscles you're going to work during this stage are chest, triceps, and shoulders, or the push group, okay? So since we only have 3 muscles that we're working, we're going to need to train each of these muscles twice. So we set up 2 different circuits with those same muscles. So we may do a dumbbell press with your chest and then go to a rope push down with your triceps. Your shoulders, you may do a lateral raise. You'll do 3 circuits of those, and then you may change it to doing pec fly machine for chest, kickbacks for triceps, and shoulder presses for shoulders for another 3 sets. This increases the volume and the weight on these muscles, creating more strength, more endurance, more metabolism, putting you at another level. Now that you've gained strength in your stage 2, you've gone from a 4-cylinder car, now we're a 6-cylinder car rather, and now we're going up toward being an 8-cylinder car. So as you go through these stages, you become more and more capable of strength and endurance, and your calorie burn is at a much higher level. Your I should have wrote pull group there. That should be pull group. Back, biceps, and traps with your trapezius muscles, and the same thing. You set up 2 different exercises for each group. You do 3 sets of one, 3 sets of another, 18 sets, 30-minute routine. You stretch in between exercises, drink in between rounds like we've always done, okay? So with each stage, you're going to increase both your resting and your working metabolic output. When you hit this stage, when you're sleeping, you're burning a lot more calories than you were at stage 1. That's a nice thing to have if you're trying to keep your weight at a level that you want, right? And this is all contingent on, of course, proper nutrition. Okay, so now we're going to go to my website and we're going to do a little demo on the website. I'm going to show you some tools that I have that you may be interested in looking at. Okay, so as a member, you would log in here. And here is the website and the way things break down. Now, there are 2 different tools that you can use. Oh, is there? Okay. There are 2 different tools. Really? Okay. Okay. So this is the website. There are 2 different ways that you can use this website. One is the on-demand videos. And as I just explained, you go from full body to upper and lower body split to push, pull, and lower body split. And they're all laid out for you here. Okay, so these are on-demand workouts and they're full workouts. Okay, for example, we can pull up a full body here, and on your phone or your device, I would lay out all of the exercises that you were going to do that day, name the exercises, And there it goes. We're going to play it. And after we name the exercises, we start demoing the exercises. So the only thing you have to do is input how much weight you're going to do. So I can put this up a little bit more. Okay, so here's an example. This is a dumbbell front squat. Okay, so you can follow along in your gym or in your house these exercise routines, and they're all different, but they're all at whatever body level they say they're on. Okay, and after the set is over, you're going to be able to see which stretch to do, and then you'll move on to the next exercise. Okay, and you'll see the next exercise pop up. Okay, so there are the on-demand videos. If you wanted to follow those in sequence, they're a big help. The only thing is you have to figure out how much weight that you should be using per exercise, and you probably should talk to me about that to see where you're at as far as putting in the proper amount of weight. Okay, the second one is, this is, it's the wrong one, I'm sorry, exercise explanation list, and there are 120 individual exercise videos here. So if I was to write a program for you, you could look on this list and you would know how to do that particular exercise in proper form along with the stretching. Okay? All right, now we're going to go back to the other screen. Okay, so that concludes the presentation. What I can tell you is anyone who's live with me here who hasn't had a consultation already is entitled to one. And also on Facebook, there is a link in the description box where you can get a 30-minute free video consultation with me. If you click the link where it says free consultation, my scheduling box will come up and you'll be able to get a consultation with me and talk about how this might help you with your weight goals and your fitness goals. And hopefully you got a lot out of this lecture tonight. If you have any questions, you can IM me on Facebook. And I hope this helped you, and I will talk to you later. Take care.